So, so in today's session, it will be Visual Force. So, as I said earlier, in development, we have two things: Visual Force and Apex. So, your Visual Force is for custom designing, and Apex is for custom business logic. So, these two are the uh, main things to broadly classify the development part. So first, let's start with Visual Force. And in Visual Force, if you see, we have this many parts to be covered. So first, how to enable the development mode. In your arms, first we have to enable the development mode. So where to go and check for development mode before starting with the development, how to enable this. Let's first see. After that, what are the possible ways of creating Visual Force? So there are three ways by which you can create a VF page. So what are all the ways we can let's see. Next, if you see the basic available Visual Force components in Salesforce. So already Salesforce has defined predefined components. It would be like tags, HTML tags, right? So you have HTML header, body, and you have input component, output component. Like as in HTML, the same way Salesforce has predefined components, and we are going to see the available component tags. There are around, I think the number has gone to 100, but then there are some handful number of components which are again and again used in real time. So even though the count is 100, hardly 20 to 25 are used, and in that around 10 to 15 are only again and again used. For example, if you start with designing a VF page, these certain components, certain 10 to 15 components they will be again and again used. So what are those components? We'll see an overview of all the available components, and I'll also tell where to go and check for, all the 100 predefined components. So in real time, whomsoever it may be, the person who has been in industry in Salesforce, also if there is a new requirement, and if at all if there is a new component that has been added, he also has to refer to that thing, and then only will put in. So we'll see first the most used components, and then I'll tell where to go and refer if at all if there is a new addition, because Salesforce in every release they are adding new components, right? So where to go and check for new components if at all some requirement comes in, I'll also tell that. So next, after that, we are going to see how to create a simple VF page. First, let's see without controllers, because as I controllers means controllers refer to your Apex class here. So if the Apex class that has to be linked to our Visual Force page, then only our Visual Force page will come into action. Why? Because we are going to design a page, and it will be a dummy page, correct? So it is just going to show. So if at all if you want some action to be performed on that page, then that has to be linked to the controller. So what is a controller? It is actually an Apex class. Your Apex class should be linked with the page. Then only our page will come into action. So now first let's our focus for the first two sessions would be on how to design a custom VF page. What are all the available predefined components in Visual Force, how to design a custom VF page without controllers first for a standard object. So there are available standard objects we have written. So account, contact, opportunity like this. So the one which we saw till now, for example, till yesterday, what we have saw was like when once you click on the account object or contact object, it showed the standard view of Salesforce. So Salesforce had designed a view, and we were viewing that only. So after this, I'm going to design a page for the same object, for account, for contact. I'm going to design the same on VF page, and I'm going to override that page. So the standard view what Salesforce has given me, I don't like it or the customer does not like the way Salesforce displays the contact. So when I click on contact object, if I click on new, it redirects me to the new page of my what Salesforce has designed. After this, we are going to design a new custom VF page, and we are going to override the standard page of what Salesforce has given with our page. Okay, so how to do that? All those things we are going to first see. So simple VF page creation using the, as I told little moments back, like we will be seeing the most used predefined components in Salesforce. With the predefined components, first let's design a simple VF page without controllers, without any Apex classes. As we are ready to start with Apex class, without Apex class, first let's start designing a VF page. First for standard objects. Okay. Next, in the VF page itself, what is a global variable and how to use it inside a VF page. Next, we will see. Then we will see about an overview of both the types of controllers. So, what are all the types of controllers? Standard controller, standard list controller, and custom controller we have. So we'll see first an overview. Why? Because we have to, even though we are seeing visual course, our focus is on visual course, we have to just know about the types alone. So what are all the types and how to link your page with our controller? That alone we have to know. Why? Because like for example, if we are designing a VF page for account object, we have to display the fields in account, right? For example, account will have standard fields account name, rating, type, so phone number, address, billing address, shipping address, these details and all will be available on the account object. If you want to display that image details, if you want to get those fields, we will have to link with the controller. Control is required. So we are not going to, without I say we are yet to start with Apex. So without even knowing Apex, there is a possibility in Salesforce to to link one controller with the page. So that is what we call this a standard controller. So what is that? So what is a standard list controller? What is the difference between these two? Then custom controller. So our custom controller is called as Apex class. In controllers there are two types: standard, custom. So in standard we have standard alone and standard list we have. Okay, so our custom controller is only our Apex controller. So we'll see a small overview on that actually, and then as there is a need for us to link our page with our account object. Why? Because like for all the standard objects, all the fields which we have created are at the data model level, correct? So whatever things which we saw still yesterday, as I told, it was like model. Salesforce had been segregated as model view controller. So whatever we saw still yesterday, it will come under data modeling. So the fields, the records which you create are at the metadata level or at the data modeling level. So if you want to if you want to fetch those details from the data model level, from the database level, then you will have to link our page, whatever page you are going to design, that has to be linked with the controller. So how to create that link? I don't know Apex, and I don't know what is a controller, but then without even knowing that, how to link my data model layer with my view layer, M with view, MVC, right? So we are going to see how to link model and view without even knowing controller. I have to do this. There is a possibility in Salesforce to do that. So what is that and how to link that, we are going to see. Then that is what the next step, linking standard controller with our VF page. Once we have done this, we will be able to link our page. Like for example, let's take, like we are going to design a contact page, custom contact new page for our org. Then once done that, how to link that with the contact object. So we would have displayed all the fields in contact object. So how to link that from the, how to link, create a link between the database layer of the contact and with the custom page which we have designed now. So how to establish that link, will be seeing. Next, how to embed a record in Salesforce with Visual Force. So we have designed the page now and we have created a link with our database layer. But then already there would be some contacts, right? Let's assume like on the contact object we have had some dummy or records, like for around 50 records we have on contact object. So how can I view the already existing records in Salesforce? Now we have created a link using standard controller. We have created a link with the database layer so that I can fetch the metadata details of my object. Okay, that's fine. But then I have some around 50 records on my Salesforce and on my contact object. So how to fetch those already existing records to my page? All that which we were seeing till yesterday was the standard page of Salesforce. Now we have designed a custom page, right? So in our page, I want to show the already existing records in Salesforce, not the metadata, but the data. So how to fetch the already existing data in my current object on my custom VF page? How to do that? That we are going to see. The next would be overriding the standard page with custom VF. As I said, like till yesterday, if I click on contact and inside that if I want to create a new record for contact, I'll just click on new button and it will take me to one page and I'll fill all the details. And then after that, I'll just click on save and then it will get the record gets saved, right? So now I am going to design a page for that contact object. Okay. I am going to design a page for the contact object and for that object now after this whomsoever is going to click on that new button, it should not take to the standard view. It should take to my page, my custom VF page it should redirect to. So how to override the standard page with the custom VF page? So that we are going to see. So once you do this, whomsoever is going to click on the contact new button, it will redirect to our page and not to the already existing page. Okay. The next one would be inline VF. There is one more portion called inline. The overriding part will come under like you are going to override the complete page. For example, already existing contact object has a new page. You are going to completely override that contact page with our page. That is one part. That's fine. In some scenarios, what the requirement would be like you are going to they require. I want the standard page of Salesforce. Inside that, in between, I want my custom page. Can you get this? For example, on opportunity object, there are some 6 sections. Let's assume. So what the customer will demand is like let the 5 sections be there. I want our custom page to be the 6th section. So that's what we call as inline VF. It is going to exist along with the standard page. Our page is going to exist. Okay, so how to establish, how to achieve that? That would be the next thing. Next, how to create a tab for our Visual Force. We have created a Visual Force page. How to link it with how to create a custom tab and how to link that custom tab with our Visual Force. So when we have seen tabs, different types of tabs, I would have said like custom tab, Visual Force tab. I would have explained, and I would have said like once when I start with Visual Force or development sessions, once we are acquainted with the Visual Force part, after that I will I'll let you know about this custom Visual Force tab I would have explained. So now how to now as we are seeing Visual Force, so how to link our page with the tab, that portion we'll cover. Next we'll take it to, we have seen for standard objects, right? So how to do it the same for custom objects. So let's see one example for one custom object. We have employee PF payslip, right? So let's how to design one custom VF page for a custom object and with the list controller. So what is a list controller? That and all, let's see. So for group of records, in standard controller, if you see like you can display only one record at a time. So how to overcome that and how to make without even going for an Apex class, without even knowing what are all the terminologies in my Apex uh, in the first level itself, with just knowing Visual Force and with just linking one line, how to fetch a group of records, how to override this. Because for in real time, if you see, if I want to fetch a group of records, then I will have to query. I'll have to know about Apex. I'll have to know collections. I'll have to for loop, list set map. I'll have to iterate it. I'll have to first query it. For that, I'll have to go to workbench. The queried records should be kept it in a list, and then that list has to be shown in the page actually. So this many things are there, but without knowing, I don't know. I'm yet to know all this. So before knowing this, how to achieve this scenario. So group of records, for example, let's assume like on the opportunity object, I have some 1,000 records. How to display those 1,000 records on my custom designed VF page? Or let's take, like we are talking about custom object, right? I have around some 100 records on my employee object. I want to display all the 100 records in one shot on my custom VF page. So how to achieve that? I don't know Apex. I don't know anything. I just want to, with the knowledge of Visual Force which I have now, I want to do this. So how to achieve that? Then also I'll come to know what is a list controller, what is the difference between standard controller and list controller. That we are going to see. Next, on VF page, the custom VF page to display the related list. Now when we are seeing here, you would have noticed, right? On opportunity on the account object, you would be able to see contact as a related list, opportunity as a related list. On opportunity object, opportunity products, opportunity price books. On cases, you will have solutions. So if there is a relationship, either master detail or lookup, you would be able to see on the parent object. If you open any record, you would be able to see the child object records or the objects view as a related list, correct? So how to show that in our page? We have designed a custom VF page. How to show the related list? There is one component available in Salesforce called Apex related list. If you just enable that in our custom VF page, we would be able to show the relationship in our custom VF page itself. So how to enable that? So that we would be saying. So this would be the complete Visual Force session page, and I'm going to cover it up maximum ASAP as possible in the first one, and the remaining by today we have scheduled one more session, right? So there I'll be covering the remaining part, with which the Visual Force will be fully covered. I mean the design part would be covered. Next we could start with the Apex, which is quite important and quite mm, large. There is a large portion to be covered over there. Okay, so let's start with today's session. This would be the agenda, and so Visual Force. Okay. It's mainly used for custom designing in Salesforce. The customer says like, I don't like the color, I don't like the way the Salesforce shows the displays the records. I want an extra button to be placed on my page actually. If you see in real time on sales process itself, uh, if you just click on lead object, account object, and opportunity object, you will have some 3-4 buttons: edit, delete, clone, new, like this you will have. But in real time, if you see, there will be some extra buttons they would have kept, because they would have required, the functionality would have been requested by the customer. So what if like I want to have an extra button? What if like I want to have the custom, I want totally the view to be completely different. I don't want the way Salesforce shows. So for all these scenarios, we will be using going for Visual Force. So it is a template based predefined components to change the view of Salesforce. So it is a template-based predefined components which are available already in Salesforce, with which we can change the view actually. Okay. So we can also use HTML, CSS, JavaScript also we can use inside Visual Force. So that we are going to see a little later at the end of the session. So first let's see what are all the things available actually. Then we'll move on to the advanced concepts. So if you are aware of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, third-party JavaScripts, frameworks like Angular, uh, what else, jQuery. So all these steps could be included in our visual course and make your our page as fancy as possible. I will also show one example uh, uh, how that designing makes things actually. So you know about CSS, right? Yesterday we saw an HTML file. It just displayed the fields actually. So if we are going to include any CSS file, then the styling will totally change. So for that, if at all if a customer demands, I want my page to be as fancy as possible. So then, as I said, Visual Force is actually template based. So to an extent only you can make customizations. Beyond which you cannot do. For example, if I'm going to show the contact object field, first name is the field in contact object. If I want to display that, the contact object field, if I'm going to just refer it, it will be the same way. Already there is the height, width, the color, the background, everything would be fixed by Salesforce itself. If I'm going to just refer it with already predefined component, then the customization would be like the one which Salesforce has provided. That's all. If the customer asks, I want the field to be in red color, I want the field background, I want the padding, the outer field padding, I want it in the red color. The inner words should be in green color. I want the height to be in this size, width to be in this size. I want the image to be placed here. I want the image to be resized like this. So those things and all the most inner if they are customizations if they are going to ask, that is not possible in Visual Force actually. Okay, in that scenario we will have to go for the HTML CSS only. So here in the back end, if you see Visual Force is actually, if you write one if I include one line of Visual Force in the back end, some 100 HTML CSS lines would be rendered. So the compiler at the runtime, when it is compiling, in the backend, Salesforce will run it. They would have written all this code, and they would have written for one Visual Force line is equal to 100 HTML CSS line in the backend. Okay, so though that customization is not available, if I'm going to include Apex input field, that is actually one component. I will be explaining. Apex input field is one component. If I'm going to include that in my page, then that's all. Beyond that, I cannot do in that field how increasing the height, increasing the width, reducing this, reducing that, including the color, that and all is not possible. So that's what I said. It is a template-based, predefined component. So to an extent only, it is possible to make customizations. Beyond which we will have to go to, we should know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, third-party Angular JavaScript frameworks. That's what I hope, like when you have seen JD's job descriptions for interviews and all, some companies or some, most probably the startup companies, mid-sized companies and all, they would have requested for, additional skill set like this. So along with Salesforce, Visual Force Apex, along with that, they would have also requested for, it would be recommended or advisable if you have this skill set also. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, third-party JavaScript frameworks and all they would ask. But for that you should have worked as a UI developer. Then you should have developed or worked as a JavaScript. JavaScript itself is actually a very big thing. So then the headache here is, if you are going to make an application using just simple HTML, CSS, JavaScript, okay, just a web application, if you're going to just include this, that will react in a different way. So first I have to know this, and I should make one application on how to know how to. If you just include those components, it will react in a different way. Now I am going to include those things in my Visual Force. Okay, so if you just a simple Visual Force page with all the predefined templates of Salesforce, that would react in a different way. If you are going to include those things inside this, again it will react in a different way. Few things will not work, and the error messages will be different. The way it works will be different. The functionalities, if you include the third-party HTML, CSS, JavaScript inside Visual Force, already existing things may not work. So that's where the problem starts. So also you cannot question anybody. If at all, if you are going to use the one which Salesforce has provided, at any point of time, if at all if there is something goes wrong, we can raise a case to Salesforce, and Salesforce is the responsible person to address our issue if we have used only the things which Salesforce has recommended. If we are going to use third-party components, third-party JavaScript frameworks, these, that, and all, if you're going to include, and if at all if something goes wrong and somewhere something issues comes and the platform is not so responding correctly, this will come at runtime. In the real time, we have seen so many issues. Everything would be correct, but then the platform would be reacting in a different way, some way or other. In Sandbox, it will be totally different. It will be working very cool. But once you move on to the production, in production it will show all sorts of nonsense issues. Because of already existing code, there will be some application. This being cloud, our code is going to sit with all other codes. So when it is going to sit with another code, it should not inject the some other unwanted things to other applications, and based on other applications, it should not collide with our code, and all these things will happen. And then in production alone, it will be in Sandbox, it will be working very fine, pakka completely. But then in production, if you see, it will be showing complete other things. So all these things will happen. So that's going to be the case. If we have used the recommended Salesforce things, then we can question Salesforce, and Salesforce also would be, in a position to provide an answer for us. But if we have used third-party JavaScript frameworks, third-party things and all, Salesforce will tell very clearly, we do not recommend all those things. So if you had used, we are not responsible for that. They'll clearly drop a mail like this stating. So it is always recommended to go for whatever Salesforce has done. So that's what, like, Visualforce and Apex is native for Salesforce. All the other things, like our other HTML, CSS custom, those things and all, if at all, if it is not possible to achieve things, then only people will go to those things. Okay, so first let's get started with the basic things and the native functionalities, predefined components which Salesforce has provided. Then after that, let's see in one session, like how it is going to make a difference and how it is possible. Once you know the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, I can show an example of how I have designed one page, and I have made the styling to be very sizable. So how to achieve that? Because people who have worked in Salesforce like for 5 years also, if you ask them, is it possible to include HTML, CSS, JavaScript and all, they would blink their eyes and say, no, I don't know, maybe no, maybe not. They will explain. They don't know actually. So, but it is possible. Salesforce, you can use Salesforce as just a container, and if you put anything inside that, it will run and throw you the output, provided you have to know those things first. Initially you should know how those things will react individually. Then if you're going to put that inside Salesforce, it may react differently. So you should know the reactions here, and then you should be able to cook everything, and then finally bring in a livable running application. So that's where the challenge of the developer lies. So first, let's start with the standard native components, native things which Salesforce has provided. Then let's move on further. So Visualforce is, as I said, it's a template-based, predefined components to change the view in Salesforce. To an extent only we can do customization, beyond which we'll have to go to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So if you look at the available components in Salesforce, let's see what are all the again and again used components. So everything starts with Apex page. Okay, so all tags start with this name, page, actually. So this does not mean Apex. Actually, this refers to uh, custom VF page. Actually, this is the VF. So all VF code will start under this page. So Apex page, whatever component you create, it should be closed actually. So if I'm going to create a component like this, then I should close it like this. Okay, like this, or in one line itself you can do it like this, or like this also I can create in component. So that depends on requirement. So we'll see slowly in where and all scenario, which scenarios we have to use this. So like this, whatever component you open, always you should close the tag, like HTML, similar to HTML, the same way. So this would be the first component. So we'll be using everything. I told about HTML, CSS, right? So inside this is actually the start of our Apex page. So inside this, I'll be having all my other components, everything I'll be having. So let's see in practical of how to achieve that. First, let's see the available components. So Apex page. Okay, all these are the available again and again used components. But all if you are going to start with designing your page, then definitely you will be having all this. Okay. Um, Beyond this, you have certain other components also which might be used rarely. This output panel, this param, and all it will be used rarely only. So output panel. Uh, related list. So for now, let's have this. These are all the again and again used available visual course components. So once we start seeing practically, uh, if something comes up, I'll include those links and I'll explain that also. So also I'll show where to go and check for all the available components and the newly added components. In every release, Salesforce will be removing or making changes for the already existing ones, and they'll be adding few things newly. So where to go and refer all those things I'll explain. So these are all the called components. Okay. So inside this we will have attribute. So I hope you know what is an attribute, right? Attribute refers to it changes the view. It changes the for this page. If I wish to change anything for this component, then I can have in an attribute I can say so that it will make all the changes. So for this, every component will have attribute. Some components will have mm, uh, mandatory attributes or required attributes will be there, but most components will have optional attributes. So I forgot to add one more thing. Uh, Apex page now table is one component which will be used. If you want to show group of records, then you will be using that component mainly. So Apex page, if you see the attribute you refer to, it is like sidebar. Show header. So these two are to name a few attributes for this component. Sidebar and show header are the Boolean attributes. By default, it will be true. So if you make this as false, uh, the side view will be disabled. If you show header, then the header will go off. Let's assume like here, are you able to see this header here? So this portion, for example, if we just give it as false in say visual course, this thing will go off. So the customer will not even know whether it is a Salesforce itself or not. So for that they'll make this happen. So like this, every component has attributes. So for page block, we can have title. For page block section, the same way, title. This form is used if you are using input field, uh, then you have to use this form. This component is mandatory. So page messages, it is used to show error. In our page, if we wish to show any error message, then we'll have to use this thing. Next, input field to get the input from end users. If we wish to get the end user, if he is going to provide some input, and then if we are going to save that, then we'll use input field. If we wish to show only read only mode, if you wish to show, then we can show in output field. Okay. So next, input text, output text. So what is the difference between field and text? So if I have a field in my backend, for example, on the contact object, if I have created a field called first name, there is a field I have already created at the data model level. I have created one field. Then if I wish to refer that field in my page, then I will be using either input field or output field. Okay. let's assume I don't have the field itself on my object. I don't have the field in the backend. I'm on the runtime. I'm just going to have one field, and I'm not going to save that on my backend. So there would be scenarios where in which I just want to get the input from the end user, perform some calculations, and again show an output. That's all. I don't want that input or the output. I don't want to be saved in my database. Okay, in that scenario, I can go for input text, output text. We'll be seeing examples for everything. So at that time, you will come to know. But then for now, you know the difference actually. So if you have a field in the backend and if you are going to refer that field, then you will be using input field, output field. If you don't have a field, if you just want to have a box, and then if you don't want to save anything on your database, and if you don't have a field on your backend, then you will be using input text and output text. So Apex param stands for parameter. So sometimes you would be requiring to pass the parameter from the page to the class. So have you seen, you would have noted, you would have booked tickets, right? So if you click on any particular record, it will show, few buttons will get enabled. So for example, if I wish to travel from Chennai to US, so there will be list of flights route which will be displayed. If I click on any particular flight, then it will take me to that record. So that is actually a page. Okay. So how come from the page, if you are clicking on the record, it is taking to another thing, right? So some functionality is happening in the backend. So there has to be you would have created a link. There would be some class like we have in Salesforce. We have Apex. So let us take any other technology, Java, .NET, XYZ. Any other technology we take, the same is applicable. There also we will for writing custom business logic. They would have kept some other class, some other thing would be there. Okay, so from the page, if I'm going to click any record, how come if that controller has to know, the class has to know the user is clicking on this particular record? So how come the class will come to know? So for that we will be using parameter, parameter passing from page to class. So that is will be happening on your using this component. So data binding is one important concept in whatever whether the technology you take, data has to be binded. How data is going to be binded here in Salesforce if you see using controller. Okay, our class is going to be there, our visual course is going to be there in the middle, and then our data modeling is going to be the other part. So MVC. So this is how the data is getting binded and how it is going to flow from controller to class and from model to page. Everything we will be seeing in practical. So for that purpose, this param will be used. But again, it will not be used again and again. It is a rare component actually. Next page block button. If I want to have any button on my custom VF page, then I will be using this. So inside this, if I'll be having command button, either button or link, you can have it. So save, edit, delete, clone, like that. If I wish to have how many number of buttons, then I'll be using this component. So if you use this component inside this component, automatically the alignment and all it will take care. If you can use this buttons, this component straightly also, but if you use this straightly, we will be facing alignment issues. So it is recommended if we are using inside this component, that's this component. Then output panel, if you see, output panel is actually like a container. That if we take here this, let's assume like this is, so if we take this as the thing, then this top thing is there, right? So this would be a panel kind of thing, output panel. So in a read-only mode, it will be showed as a container actually. So that is output panel. So next page block table. If you want to display group of records on your custom VF page, then you will be going for page block table. So related list, as I said, on our VF page, if you wish to show the relationship, if at all, if it is a case object, if you want to show solutions for the cases on our custom VF page, then if you include this component, then we can show that as a related list actually. Okay. So now, as we said, all these are components, and all these are the attributes, and few more attributes. If you see, for output field, for input field, we will have value. Okay, this is how we'll be referring it, object name dot field name. So this is what I was telling. So if I have a field on my backend, then I would be referring using this open braces, clever, close braces, an explanatory mark. Always in Salesforce, you will be referring, like if you have a method inside a class, how will you call that method? Using class name, right? If it is a static class, you will directly call using class name dot method name. In Java, you would, let's take for example Java or C system.println. There is a statement to show the messages, right? So system is actually a class. Println is a method inside that. So using, you are referring to be like this. In Salesforce, the same way, for all the fields which you are going to refer, you will be referring it as object name dot field name. Okay, so this is actually one attribute. Then if you want to make the field as mandatory, you can have it like required equal to true. If you just give this, then directly, if you just give this, then this field will be made directly as required. So like this, you can have it for output field, input text, output text. For page block button, there is nothing. For command button, if you see, you will have action and value. So what action this button on, when I'm clicking this particular button, what action it is going to do, and what is the label name which the button is going to have, whether it is save, edit, delete, clone, or render as I want to copy as PDF, I want to add a file, like this. Whatever you button, this is actually label which the customer will be viewing. So this will be the action which the button, on click of the button, what action it is going to do, that would be shown here actually. Okay. In the same way for command link. And page block table, if you see value, you will have. Then on variable, you will have. So var stands for variable, because in table you will be showing many records, right? So you will be iterating it. Every record has to be iterated individually. So for that iteration, we will be using this. You can give anything, any variable you can give it. So using this variable, we will be iterating each row, and will be showing on our page. I told, right. So on the later stage of the Visual Force designing, we will be creating a page to display group of records. So when we are going to achieve that scenario, then we will be in need of this component and this attribute. So I told, like, for few components there are mandatory or required attributes, right? So for this component, if you see, these two attributes are mandatory. So if you are going to use this component, so you will have to use these two attributes. Without that, it will not allow you to save the page. Okay. So this is one point to be noted here. So all these are the available again and again used real-time components. If you are if you are going to start designing a VF page, then you would be using all such components. So to start with Visual Force, this is fine. So this is what an overview about what Visual Force is and the available predefined components in Visual Force. Fine. So let's start with our practical thing today. So first is like enabling the development mode, correct? So how to enable the development mode? I'm sharing the screen of my Salesforce. So here, if you see, go to setup and click on users. Under administer manage users, click on users, go to your name, See, come this page will open up. In here, just click on Control F and search for development mode. See here, development mode is there, right? So you will have to enable this before starting your development. On your org, you will have to enable this. Okay, just click on edit. Enable that checkbox. Click on save. So this would be our first part before starting the development mode. So how to enable the development mode? Come to users, under your name on your page, just enable the development mode first. Okay. Next, if you see, what are all the ways by which you can create visual course in Salesforce? So there are three ways by which you can create a page actually. So go to directly on your left, click on pages. If you just click on pages, it will take under build develop, it will show visual course pages. Just click on visual course pages. It will take you to this page. Okay, so for you it will be new, I think. So this area it will show a new. There will be a button called new. Just click on that. Okay, it will take you to this page. Fine. So here you can, by default it will show this line. So here you can give a label and name. Name is actually API name for the future reference for the developers, as it should be unique. Automatically system will be generating that name. So this is the first way of creating a page. You can do like this. Fine. So fine. You can have like this. So this would be our first page. So we can have the preview. We can view the output as preview. You just click on this. It will run and show the output. This is one way of creating a VF page. Congratulations, this is your new page. See here, inside Apex page, they would have written this line. I'll explain the code a few minutes later. So first, let's see. This is the first way. Going to pages, click on Visual Force pages. It will take you here. Click on New button and start creating your new page. This is the first way. Second way, if you see, under your name, click on. You will have Developer Console. Click on Developer Console, and it will take you to this page. Fine. So here, under file, click new, come down. You will have, see here, Visual Force page. Just type in a name for your page. Fine. So like this, you can create a VF page. So inside this, I don't write whatever code you write, it should be inside this. So once you save the page, the system itself will give you this. So inside this you will have to type in the remaining components. We can have it. So this is the second way of creating the Visual Force page. The third way, if you see, directly from the URL itself, you can create a page. For example, I am going to delete this, and if I give slash apex slash find slash apex slash your page actually. For example, we have already created few pages, correct? Till first VF, till second VF. So if I slash apex slash page name, if I give, see here, the page has come, right? So here, now come down. Are you able to see a footer here? So this will come only if you enable the development mode. We have enabled one development mode, right, under your name. So if you enable the checkbox, then only this footer will come. If you are not enabling that, this will not come up. Okay. So after enabling, this footer will come. Just expand this and see here. We can type in our code here. Fine. So now if you see here, I can make the changes. For example, congratulations. See here, I am making a change. Congratulations, Delanta. So if I just save it, immediately I can see the output here. See here, congratulations, Delanta. So whatever change I am making here, okay. So like this, you can, for the first time users, this third way is actually recommended way. When you are learning for the first time, this would be because you can make some changes here. You can add few lines, you can remove few lines, you can edit few lines. From Google, if you are practicing, you can copy some other code. And for debugging, if you are going to perform any actions, you can do everything here, and immediately the change will be reflected here. Okay, I told, right, Apex page, if you will have attributes. So for this one, there is one attribute called sidebar. So if I just click on sidebar, the system itself will show this. This is what we call it as IntelliSense. The platform itself will show that. So here I will just click on. So by default it is a true. So sidebar is a boolean attribute. So by default it is true. If I just give false, see what happens. I am going to click on save. See here, my left side bar has gone. Okay, if I just click on true, again it will come. But by default it is true. Even if you remove this attribute, no changes will happen actually. So again we will have the same output. So this is the third way. So from the URL, if you just give slash apex slash uh, the page name, then it will take you to this page. Then now you can ask me one question. So okay, our this page was already there. We already created, right? So we have referred. So it is showing fine. What if like I am going to create a new page for the first time? The page is not available. So in that case, how will the system react? Then also you can do this. So now just you just have, let's create. I am going to slash apex slash this page is not there, right? So we have first, second is there, but this is not there. Correct. So now just click on this. It will show on one error. So this it does not exist. So then we have Salesforce itself. It gives one line called create page JSON Salesforce Lightning. Correct. Salesforce itself gives this option. So now just click on this link. See here, it by itself will create this page. Now see the footer, the page has come. So the way in which we have created the page over there, automatically Salesforce will give this, and after this we can make all the changes inside this. Now if you come and refresh the page and see here, third view, just there. Fine. So these are all the three ways by which you can do it. And from the URL, the third way is actually the ideal way. It would be easier, and as you can immediately see the changes. So we'll be seeing like this now. So next, if you see, I have told where to go and refer the components, correct? So see here, you have one link called component reference. So just click on this. It will take you to this page. So this will display all the available Visualforce components. Okay. For example, it's the command button. So if you just click on command button, it will show what is that component used for. Then it will show all the attributes. See here, these are all the available attributes. I would have told about one attribute, value and action. Correct. Command button has action and value. So all are optional. See here, for required, nothing is none. So the remaining things and all you can use based on the requirement. So why it is used, what is the component and what are all the attributes, then they would have given one example also. See here, Apex command button, action, value. ID stands for identifier actually. So that we'll be seeing in the later part of the thing. So this is how, see here, for action, this is the label. So they would have given with one example what are all the available attributes, everything they would have shown. So like this, Apex page, see here. So what are all the available attributes for this page and where is the page used actually. Simple example for our page they would have given. Fine. So like using this you can go and refer, and the newly added components will be available here. So we have enabled the development mode. We have seen what are all the possible ways by which we can create Salesforce, and we have seen the basic Visualforce components. We have seen an overview, correct? So now let's start creating one simple VF page without controllers for one standard object. Let's create how to create one simple Visualforce page. Let's start creating one. Okay. Um, so let's start doing that for the contact object actually. So for contact object, if someone clicks on new, See here, it is taking to this object, right? It is taking to this page. So this is the standard page of Salesforce. Fine. Now we are going to create one page for contact object, and we are going to let's create one new page for this same contact object, and we are going to display all these fields. Fine. So then, after that, if someone clicks on new button, it should not take to this page. It should take to our page, whatever page which we are going to create now. It should take to that page. Fine. So that is our scenario. So let's see how to achieve that. Before that, let's design a simple VF page, and let's get acquainted with uh, the components. See here, this is our VF page, right? So Apex page, sidebar equal to false. Show header equal to false. If we just click on save, everything will go off. Just this thing will be there. So for now, we have just this as true, so that it will be showing like this. Now inside this Apex page, I'll have Apex page block. So if I just click on page block, see what happens. So this happens. So this comes. So title equal to see here. Now are you able to know the difference? This white thing is there, right? This is actually page. Inside that, this is page block. Fine. Let me show the difference. If I just click on false, see here, this white thing fully will be your page. Our total, this thing is page actually. Inside that, this is page block. Fine. Next, if we wish to have another page block, another block is there. Fine. Page, and inside that we have two page blocks. Now inside that, I am going to show page block section. Fine. Are you able to now identify the difference and better understand the components? So this white portion is actually page. Then that is again divided into two page blocks. Then that is again divided into two sections inside them. So now if you just click on contact new, see here, this is actually the total page. Inside that, this completely comes under one block, one page block. Inside that we have many sections. Contact information is one section, address information is one section, additional information is one section, description information is one section. Okay, are you able to now segregate things? So this is the standard way which Salesforce has designed. The same way we are also going to create. We can also create one page. This background image and all, see here, this is fixed. It's a gray color image it is showing, right? So for page block it is gray color, for page block section it is blue color. All these are fixed. So if you want to make any changes for this color and all, then you will have to go for HTML CSS, no other way. That's what I said. To an extent only using Visual Force, the customization could be done to an extent only in Visual Force components. So first let's see all the available components, then let's move on to that HTML CSS part. So we have seen page block section, correct? So next let's see about page block uh, button, how to place buttons. So page block buttons should be kept inside Apex uh, page block actually. So under Apex page block, I am going to have page block buttons. Fine. So under page block button, I am going to have Apex command button, and for that I am going to have action. What action I wish to have? I just wish to have a save, and the value again save. So see here what error it is showing. Apex command button uh, under Apex page must occur between Apex form tags. So if we are using this component, it is requesting to use form. So what should I use? Under page, I should use Apex form. So now this form, I am keeping it here, and I am keeping it here. Clicking on save. Now see here, save. So if you just under this page block I have kept, so it is showing for save. Fine. So if you place once, see here, here also you will have, in the top you will have 3 buttons, in the bottom you will have 3 buttons. So this is a predefined functionality. If you just refer, if you put one button in the top and bottom, automatically in the page block you will have. Okay, this is the default nature of Salesforce. Now see here, the alignment has come, it has come in the center. Why? Because of page block button. Now if I remove this page block button, let's see what happens. So I have removed the page block button. Now I have only command button. See here, it will go to the left. That's all. No alignment will be there. That's why we always recommend to use the command button inside the page block button. Okay, inside page block button, I'm going to have this command button. So now if you see, we will have save. So we have used command button. Next let's use one command link actually. So this action and all should be referred open braces, flower braces, exclamatory mark. Inside that you can have it. So now value, you see here it is plotted as a link. You would have seen like hyperlink and all. So edit. Fine. So that is nothing. So we have not referred any fields here. So it will show. So this is how you will create. This is actually a sample simple VF page. Page block section, and page block button, command button. Inside that we have used attributes also, action, value, title, sidebar, show header. So form, if it's form we have used. So after this we will be using input field, output field, input text, output text, page block table, all those things. So but for referring, this is actually a simple VF page to define the predefined components actually. So here let's see, hi, I want to show like the logged in user. So logged in user details, how can I fetch? If you see, I am just going to have Okay, see here I have used dollar user dot first name. So dollar user refers to, this is what we call it as a global variable. There are certain variables in Salesforce which we call it as a global variable. One among them is user. If you just give it as dollar user, it will take the logged in user. I have logged in as Ganesh, right? So it will take Ganesh first name. Fine. So this is how you will be using the global variables in our page. So dollar user is one global variable. We have profile. For profile, we have dollar profile is another global variable actually. So under profile, you have to use the field name. So we will have to, profile is actually one object. So as we have used user dot first name, user is an object. Inside that first name is actually a field. So we record object name dot field name. In the same way, profile, for profiles also, for maintaining profiles also in Salesforce, in the backend, Salesforce maintains one object. So we have referred the object, but we have to refer the particular field. So in the later stage, let's see, refer one field, any one field in that, and then let's see. So this is how we'll be, as I said, this is one example for referring the global variables in Salesforce. If you use this line in your org, it will show Delanta or Delanta Sinmarin or whatever the full name which you have used over there will be used. Okay, this is actually the usage of global variables. So you can comment using, the command could be made like this. Fine. In Visual Force, you can make a comment using this line. Do you understand? So arrow marks, exclamatory mark, two lines, and again two lines. Like this only you can, in Visual Force, you can make a comment line actually. So in Apex classes it is different. In Visual Force it is different. So in Visual Force the command line could be this way. Fine. So this is actually the simple VF page. So now let's just click on to our agenda what we have already said. So we have created a simple VF page for standard object. Okay, for standard object we have designed a simple VF page, but then I have to use the for standard object. For contact object I have to use. If I want to use the contact object, then I have to link it using a controller. So now I'll have to explain what is a controller. So I have also explained what is the usage of actually the global variables. Okay. So the usage I have said dollar user dot first name, that is actually one global variable. A dollar resource is there, dollar profile is there, dollar resource is actually static resource. Okay, if you have placed any image on the static resource and if you want to refer that image in your Visual Force page, then you can go in for actually dollar resource. Dollar settings is there, for custom settings. So we'll be referring to those in the later stages when once we start with our custom uh, code, Apex class code. So next we'll see types of controllers. Then only I can explain with the link with the standard object. Okay. So now here we have designed one page, correct? So here if I want to let's say inside the section, where is the section? Inside the section, if I'm using input field value equal to, so this is where API names and all will be used. So after this, we will be referring to all the API names of the object. For all the standard objects, the API name and the label name remains the same, correct? The field label refer to the field label, it both refers to the same. So now in contact, I have, what do I have? Name. So object name dot field name, if I'm going to refer. So object name dot field name, if I am referring it, it will, let's see what happens. See here, unknown property contact is referenced. Unknown property is referenced. Unknown property is referenced. So what does that error mean? So this page is not, this page does not know what is a contact because there is no link between contact. What is a contact? This is actually a dummy page, correct? Just Apex page, that's all. So there is no link between this view and the model. What is a contact? It is actually an object metadata which you have created in the at the database level. At the database layer level, you have created contact object. You have to provide a link between your page and that layer, the database layer, and between your object. Then only this page will come to know what is a contact. Without that, we have just referred, just like that, we have referred a contact object name dot field name. If you are going to use this, how come the page will come to know you have used this object? Fine, that's what it is saying, unknown property. So this error refers to like this page does not know what is a contact. So we have to create a link between our page and the object, or our view and the data model. So how to create that link? If you see, for that only we will be using controller. So what is a controller? If you see, as I said already, controller is actually the business logic of the Apex class. In controllers, we have three different types of controller: standard controller, standard list controller, and custom controller. Fine. There are three types of controllers: standard, standard list, and custom controller. So what is a standard controller? If you see, all the standard functionalities of Salesforce: save, edit, delete, clone, all such functionalities you can make use of it. Already existing functionalities of Salesforce, you can make use of it. Also, you can create a link between your page or your view and the object, the database layer. You can touch the database level, database layer using this standard controller. You don't need to know about Apex, you don't need to know about any other things. Just with Visual Force knowledge itself, if you just give standard controller, okay, then you are going to give the name of the object. If you just give, automatically link will be created. So that is what we call it as a standard controller. So what is the use of standard controller? To create a link between your page and your object, first thing. Next, if you want to use any already existing functionalities of Salesforce, because like, have you noticed here on our when I showed the component Apex command button, I gave value equal to save, action equal to save. So the page, it took just like that. Why? Because save is actually a standard functionality of Salesforce. So for that, if you are going to use this in our custom way, you have to write a class, we have to write a method. Actually, something is happening, right? When you click on that button, something should happen. For something should happen, you have to write something on your class. So you should know what is a custom controller, you should know about Apex, you should know what is a class. Inside the class, you are going to write one method, and inside that method, you are going to write your logic. So that logic, so that would be some DML operations or some thought process which you would have used based on the requirement. You will be writing inside that method. You will be writing one line, and once you click on this button, that method will be called. Then only that action will be performed. Correct. So, but now we don't know about Apex, we don't know class, controller, method, nothing, we don't know anything. But now just with the use of this standard controller, I can make use of all the already existing functionalities of Salesforce. That is two benefits of using standard controller. So first we are going to use this standard controller. In real time, if you see, this will not be used. I again repeat, in real time standard controllers and all will be rarely used. But now for learning purpose, we have to know what is a controller, how to create a link between our page and our object level, and how the data is getting binded actually, everything we have to know. So for learning purpose, this is very much useful, the standard controller. Okay, let's start with standard controller, move on to standard list, then move on to custom controller, because once we learn these two, this would be little easier. This custom part will be little easier. So now, as we have been in the middle of creating one component, see here, now this is showing one error, correct? So this page does not know what is a control, what is a contact. So how to overcome this situation means, on the page, on the top component Apex page, just I am going to include one new attribute called standard controller. Just type in standard. See here, the system itself will, using IntelliSense, it will show standard controller. Just click on that, and here I am going to just click on which object we are going to refer. Now we are trying to build a VF page for contact object, correct? So just click on contact. So because the object name is contact only. So now see here what has happened. Okay, if I have used inside the page block section, so let me use it in page block itself. Fine. See here, now the name has come. Now the page is allowing me to save. So just I gave standard control equal to contact. So before I gave this line, it threw me an error. And also, if I am going to remove this, see here, the layout also was different. See here, it by default it took the layout of home page. Now once I give standard control equal to account, it will take the properties of contact object, the color, the layout, the background, everything it will change, and it will be come under as contacts. It will take the properties of the contacts object. So once you give this, automatically it took the, see here, the image, the properties, the color and all have changed. Fine. So this is how we will create a link between the page and the object using this keyword, this attribute, standard controller. We will give, you give standard controller is equal to the object name. As contact is the standard object, the API name and the field name is same, so I have given it as contact. So the same way, if it is for our custom object, then double underscore C that will be referred. Okay, that we are going to see in the next example in the later session. So now this is how we will create a link and sample VF page. Now let's start designing one complete new contact VF page for our uh, scenario purpose. Okay. So so this is my page name. Dell contact VF is the custom VF page name which we are going to create. Just click on enter. So it will show like that there is no such page exists. So I'm going to click on this link. So it is going to create one page like this. So now this is the page with which we are going to do all the things. So here, so again, let's repeat whatever we did over there. So if it's page, let's first make sidebar alone as false. Let's remove the lines inside this. So now here if it's page, now what we have to do, we are going to link it with our our object. So standard control is equal to contact. So that has been done. So next we are going to use form. Why? Because this should be used. If we are going to use button, then this should be used. Then inside this, I'm going to have one page block. Fine. Inside this, I'm going to have one page block section. Fine. The title of the page block would be contact information. Fine. Contact data. And we are going to refer the links. So API name of the field. So I am going to refer it as object name dot field name. Fine. So like this, I am going to refer remaining fields also. Fine. See here, we have created a custom VF page block section. Inside that we have created few fields and we have referred all the contact fields in our object. Using the one word scanner control equal to contact, we have created a link between our page and the database layer level, and we have referred all the fields from the metadata level. We have referred all the fields which were there in the contact objects, and then we have created one section. So like this, by default for the page block section, it is a two-layered layout. Okay, if I want to change this, if I just give, are you able to? So now here in the page block section, if I give columns equal to 1, say here it will be all will come as single column. So by default for page block section it is two column layout. But if we give it as columns equal to 1, then it will come as this. In the same way, by default for the last name is only required. See here. See, this is the standard page. In standard page also, if you see, the last name is only required. Now what if like if I wish to have the first name also as required, then in the coding, in the VF page code, just include one more. There is one attribute called required. So required equal to true. If I give this, then my first name also will be required. Like this, you can make any field as required, and you can make the page block section either as a single column or as two column layout. Okay, we have created one section. So let's try creating one more section alone. Let's have the columns as one here, and let's have some few fields. Fine. So now for the fields, let's have account. See here, on the contact object, I have lookup for account, correct? Because account is parent, correct? Contact is child. So from the child, I can look up all the accounts. So if I'm going to refer, the API name of this account is actually account. So if I'm referring this field, see here what happens. Visual Force error, expression value does not resolve to a field, error is an expression contact account. So the API name is actually account only, correct only. I have referred exactly the same way what Salesforce has given in my code, but still it is not showing, it is having this, showing this error. But for all the other fields and all, if I copied the same API name and if I had used and it is showing same correctly exactly. But then if I'm going to use this alone, for lookup fields alone, if I'm going to copy the API name, it is showing like this. What could have been the error? So if we see, For actually it is a lookup field for us. Fine. In the back end, Salesforce saves this as an ID. For Salesforce, if you see, this is actually one ID. So we have to, if you, when you are always in your code, if you are referring to any lookup fields, you have to add ID. So if you just add the value ID, see here, now the code will be saved. So this is one thing. So have you noticed, uh, if we are referring to the fields, by default, it is taking the data type. So if you just refer to object name dot field name, that is enough. By default, it will take, see here, date means date it will take. The same way, if you just refer to the fields, by default it will take the data type. If it is a pick list, then it will take pick list. Let's see one pick list. See here, if you just refer to the field, by default it will take the data type. The system itself will take the data type. So like this, we have created one custom contact VF page with two sections, one single column and another on normal two column layout. Like this, we have created one contact VF page. So now it's time for us to put the buttons. So under Apex page block, and we're going to have page block buttons. So under that, I'm going to have command button. Fine. I have placed two buttons, save and delete. But now it is not showing delete. Why? Because we don't have any record, correct? So when will you delete? If you have some already existing records in database in your page, if it is going to get showed, then it will show delete button. So this is where now there is no record, so it is not showing delete actually. Fine. So this is how you will create one custom VF page for one standard object by linking the controller. How to link the controller, how to link your page with your object we have seen now. Fine. So now if you, for example, if you give any details here, so they just click on and let me check for, I don't have any record called Delanta on contacts I don't have any record called Delanta VF test. So I'm going to create one record, click on save. See here, the record has been saved. Look at the created time, it is actually my time today, just now. And it will, all the records, all the details which we gave there, it would have been come and saved here. Fine. So our contact page is working fine, save is working fine. Did we write any code for save? We did not. We just wrote one line, correct? So now on the contact object, if you just come and look for all contacts, on the first one would be so our contact has been saved. So now fine. So we didn't write any code for save. We just gave the line called action equal to save, value equal to save. But then by default, system itself has taken. But if you are typing any values and clicking on save, the functionality is working fine, right? The data is getting saved to the database. So now if you search for this record, it will show in all the objects and contact. See, we have the record, your record. So the record is getting saved to the database. So same functionality is working fine. So how come? It is because of the standard controller. So I told, right, to create a link between your page and the object and to use the already existing few functionalities of Salesforce, you can use this line. So if you just, because of this, the functionality was working. So this is how you will create one custom VF page using standard controller for a standard object. Okay, so this is our custom page. This is the standard page of Salesforce. How will you identify the difference if you see? If you look at the URL, if it is not showing any /apex, it is a standard page. If in the URL, if you see /apex /something, then it is a custom page. This is how you should identify the difference between the standard page and the custom page. Fine? Because just by looking at it, it is hard to find the difference. So from the URL, you would be able to know whether it is a standard page or a custom page. Fine. So let's look at our so we have seen how to link the standard controller with VF page. Till this we have seen. Fine. So let's see about